This is Jody Roundhouse. Welcome to the Roundhouse Report. I have a flash update for you regarding Libya. It's called Oh Libya. ... Today's April 16th, Tuesday, so I'm a little bit dated here. My source is Time, so we have a subscription here. It's the time for the 22nd. And this is what I'm briefly going to be describing. These guys are the officially American/US backed troops in Libya. They're about to go fight this other dude's militia. That's what this picture is. That's what I'm about to talk about. So these guys are all decked out. We've decked them out, the United States. Oh, Libya. That's what the name is. Please subscribe, by the way. Alright, so this is the Roundhouse Report. There's this dude. Libya's on fire. In 2011, I believe, Gaddafi was pushing east toward Benghazi. There was an uprising that was brewing in Benghazi, during that whole Arab Spring movement in 2011 or so. And Gaddafi made some kind of offhanded remark that he was going to crush them, every last man, or go closet to closet. It was sinister. And Hillary Clinton and Obama and his administration and their elements within NATO and the UN, they kind of tricked Russia and they kind of tricked China into agreeing to their what ultimately ended up being just simply a scheme to topple Gaddafi. Gaddafi was toppled. He was anally destroyed by a probe, by a metal rod. It's disturbing. That's how he was executed by his own people when he was found. I don't know why he didn't just leave the country with his family, like his family did, and live in exile, wealthy. I don't know. But there's this dude, because they've been fighting ever since in Libya. Who controls Libya? The UN-backed thing? The one that I just showed you? The fighters loyal to the UN-backed government that's based in Tripoli in Libya? Or are we backing this other dude who is an American citizen? Okay? This other dude. His name is Khalifa Haftar. He's a rebel warlord is how it's being described by Time. This was written by Joseph Hinks. A rebel warlord, Khalifa Haftar, ordered his troops on April 4th to take the city, Tripoli. To take the city located in the nation's west from the UN-backed government. The advance of the general's Libyan National Army, also known as the LNA, came ahead of a planned April 14th conference aimed at reconciling Libya's armed factions. That's from the article. It's just a small brief. There are a number of militias. Some are a dozen strong, just for a small village or a hamlet. Some are hundreds of strong, some are thousands of strong with regard to manpower and troops capability and equipment. Artillery, mortars, tanks. Haftar, this guy's describing as a rogue general. Haftar, 75. He was an officer in the 1969 coup that brought Gaddafi to power. Again, I'm reading from the article here. He was involved in the 1969 coup that brought Gaddafi to power. After falling out with the dictator in the 1980s, he spent 2 decades in exile in the U.S., where he took American citizenship. He re-emerged to serve as a general in the 2011 civil war that ended Gaddafi's reign. As far as I'm concerned, he just saw that as an opportunity, and he jumped back into the game. But he's an American citizen. So the American citizen militia, which I know the CIA has contacts with, they're fighting the UN nominally backed official government. So we're fighting, it's a proxy war where we're supporting both sides. Yeah, that's where we're at right now in North Africa. We have a proxy war where we are supporting both sides. So what I recommend, okay, this guy's saying that, this guy's saying that all major states, that nominally support the UN-backed government at Tripoli. Now, Haftar, this American citizen general dude, who apparently has a pretty powerful little militia here, or big militia, I don't know. It says that Haftar has plenty of backers overseas. Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates have allegedly supplied weapons to the LNA. Again, that's the Libyan National Army to help fight Islamist militias aligned with the Muslim Brotherhood. So again, not Al-Qaeda, but the Muslim Brotherhood, because that's always been an issue, a deep-seated issue in Egypt in particular, in Sudan, and that led to an offshoot, Al-Qaeda, and it just snowballed from there. Russia is reportedly providing training to this rogue general. Russia apparently has their guys there training this dude and his troops. So again, this dude is an American citizen. France has also given him tacit support, seeing him as key to stabilizing Libya. He probably is key to stabilizing Libya. He wrote, Haftar has cast himself as a national protector, but critics fear he is attempting to return the country to Gaddafi-style authoritarian rule. In my opinion, and this is shared by a lot of people who I've spoken with over the years, the only way to keep like an Arab population under control, especially one that's split via Shiite, Sunni, via tribal lines, fringe ethnic issues, the only way to keep an Arab population under control, like Saddam Hussein did, is to be you gotta be a little bit brutal, which is how the world is, and the Middle East is rough. Saddam Hussein was brutal, but look how calm Iraq was internally. It was effed up, but didn't cause any problems internally. As soon as Saddam left, power vacuum. I don't know how many freaking bombings there have been and shootings. Just terrorism, not to mention the war. But I'm getting off track. Let's see here. Haftar's advance on Tripoli, which is, happening as I speak, has already led to bloodshed. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has condemned it, while the UN, Russia, and EU leaders have called in vain for a truce. Everyone's like, WTF, man, stop. You guys have enough problems. And also Italy could step in, the new nationalist government in Italy, they could step in and assist either faction, or I think merging the two factions, and then further continue insisting the, quote, Coast Guard that would prevent migrants from being left floundering off of Italy's coast because they're not letting them in anymore. Quote, the agenda has been pure carrot and no stick, end quote. Libya expert Elham Saadi says of the international community's past attempts to rein in Libya's armed actors. Quote, what is the incentive now to play by the rules, question mark, end quote. The incentive, this is what I propose the United States doing, a massive economic aid package for infrastructure for Libya. In exchange for that, not only will they owe us that money in return, and not only will we have our foot on their neck, so to speak, economic warfare, kind of like what the Chinese are doing throughout Asia, trying to do. In exchange, they will allow a major United States/NATO base to operate inside of Libya's territory, ideally on the coastline. So, pretty easy fix, I think. I don't know, comment. Maybe I'm wrong. It's the Roundhouse Report. Jody Roundhouse, please subscribe.